What's going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to be talking about 3 prospects that I think the Charlotte Hornets should be looking at. These are my 3. These are my favorite 3. But in this draft process, I'm not going to sit here from from now to June 26th talking about the same 3 guys. No, we're going to talk about a lot of players. So therefore, my job is just to give you the information, and then you can come up with your own ideas. If our ideas align on who we want, hey, maybe I did a good job. But if they don't, that's perfectly fine. As long as you're just paying attention to the draft with the knowledge of who these guys are. That's really all I care about. I don't care if we align or not. I just want to make sure I give you the information so that you can make your own decision and you can feel good about the evaluation of these prospects. But like I said, we're in this video, we're just going to be doing my 3, as we saw yesterday, which was Mother's Day, which is why I didn't record a video, because it was my wife's first Mother's Day. Had to make it special. We saw that the Charlotte Hornets fell from 3 to 6. Now, luckily in this draft, there's a lot of good potential all throughout 1 through 10. I think who would go top 3 is probably consensus. Maybe top 2 is consensus, but in the order they would go is not consensus. It's a crazy draft. So I think there's a lot for us to do at 6 in this draft. Someone who should probably go 3rd could go 6th. Someone it's just all over the place. So these are my 3, and also, of course, it's in the idea that they would fall to us. I didn't pick Alex Sarr for obvious reasons. I didn't pick Nikola Topic, who was actually injured today, so hopefully he's getting better. 1, as y'all know, I didn't really want him, but 2, I don't think he's going to fall this far. Maybe with the injury, but we're not going to go that far. So yeah, anyway, the first prospect is Stephon Castle. We talked a lot about him not yesterday, but in my last video, we talked about his fit next to LaMelo and Brandon Miller. And those are my sentiments. Those are still my sentiments. I think that he's going to be an excellent fit. It was scary this morning because it was announced that he was like 6'2", and then they realized that they put in the wrong height, and I think he ended up measuring at like 6'4", which he's not the 6'6" that they gave him at UConn. But I'll take 6'4.5", almost 6'5". I'm perfectly okay with that, especially for the role we're going to play him in. And in that role, I think it's the Cody Martin role. What we do with Cody Martin right now, Stephon Castle does that 10 times better, and probably I think it's going to be cheaper. I'd much rather have Stephon Castle. He's going to be available. He's a younger guy. He's better for the timeline. He's not a part of the old Hornets, so you don't. It's just that, Stephon Castle is going to be a new impressionable rookie, so you're just able to have him kind of grow with this new culture we're trying to build. Cody Martin been here, done that, seen it. I just think having Stephon Castle in that role is just going to be much better for us. And I'm not expecting him to do anything special. Like I said, he's got to play that role. If that's what we're going to do, I like that role. I think that's a good role that fits this team very well as like the playmaker, defender type of guy, a point of attack defender. We're not looking him to drop 10 even, but if he can give us a consistent 12, 5, and 5, we're perfectly okay with that and play good defense. We don't need him really to shoot at an extremely high clip. We just need him to be dangerous for a guard at least, because some people say that for like centers, but for a guard, dangerous, not actual like the 32. He needs to shoot around like 35, and I'll be okay with that. But yeah, we need him to actually be dangerous. I think he can do it all. And what he does best does not stunt his growth compared to when you think about other players who need the ball. So with LaMelo having the ball, with Brandon Miller having the ball, Miles has the ball, that doesn't stop Stephon Castle's best skill sets. It doesn't, because his defense, cutting. I will say, I think he's a tremendous finisher at the rim when it comes to embracing contact. But that's fine. He can do that off cuts because I like his ability to cut. And he's not a shooter, but he does knock down shots. That's the caveat with him, is that he's not this shooter that you would necessarily want, because I think he only shot 27% from 3. However, we don't necessarily need him to be a great 3-point shooter, especially right now. The league is a shooting league. I'm not denying that. And I'm also not going to deny anybody that says, he's not the guy. Perfectly fine. I get it. He can't shoot as of right now. But if we can get him to be dangerous, his shot doesn't look bad at all. I really like Stephon Castle and what he can do. The main thing is it's about his fit. I really thoroughly enjoy his fit with this team. So the second person we're going to talk about is new, actually, because just yesterday, immediately after the draft lottery, I had one person here, but then after this morning, after the measurements came out, I've kind of switched because they weren't that far between anyway. And that second person is Ron Holland. Ron Holland is coming from the G League Ignite. Oh, and if I didn't mention, Stephon Castle, he came from UConn, the back-to-back champions. He was a freshman, but still, he was a very instrumental piece in that, and he really showed out in the tournament. But anyway, Ron Holland from the G League Ignite, he had an injury, but very early on they said it wasn't a serious injury, and the reason he was sitting out is because he knew he was going to be in the draft. He knew he was going to be a high pick, so what was the point? In that time, I think he averaged like 19 points, and his story, and I think I said this before on his channel, his story is similar to Scoot, as in you're enamored by what he's able to do against grown men being, as young as he is. I think he's like 18 years old, and he was putting up like 19 points per game, and he was doing it. It looked good when he was doing it. He's 6'6", which I think sometimes you'll see places that he says he's 6'8", but he's 6'6", which I'm perfectly okay with. One thing I was stuck on him about, and I admit that it's stupid now, but it was the reason why I kind of had him 3. It was part of the reason I kind of had him 3 at first, was the fact that I really didn't know if he could play the 2 or the 3. And the beauty in having Brandon Miller is that he opens the door to pair him with a lot of different players in that little wing guard position. And once I kind of thought about that, because I thought about that last night, and then once something happened this morning, that's what made me be like, you know what, I'm moving Ron Holland up. But once I thought about that, I was like, you know what? I really like that. I really like that for Ron Holland. I really like that he's going to be able to be paired with someone like Brandon Miller. Now, the thing is, he's a big project. He scores a lot. He's relentless at the rim. He needs to work on his shot as well, but he has defensive upside. He runs the floor. Once you get his motor going, he's gone. He's running up and down the floor, but it does take some time. I do think he needs to work on not necessarily his playmaking ability. I think he's good at setting people up, but his decision making does need some attention. And I think he can, kind of progress a little quicker playing this alongside LaMelo Ball, playing alongside Brandon Miller. I think it's going to help him progress a lot quicker. Now, the thing is, why he's number 2 and not 1 is because of the fact that what he does best, and I said he's a good defender, but what he does best, he needs the ball in his hand. And we have 3 guys who play that same way. Now, like I said, they have other skill sets, but what they do best requires them to have the ball. And he's very much that way. So for me to really go with Ron Holland, it's just kind of iffy. I like everything he does. I like his ability, like I said, to run the floor. I like his ability to create for himself at the rim. I like his shiftiness. I like his build. The only thing is, 1, like I said, his shooting. 2, he just needs the ball too much. He needs the ball too much because basically at G League Unite, he was running their offense a lot of the time, and he's just not going to do that in Charlotte. I wouldn't put him over Tremaine Misic when it comes to running our offense in certain times, and even and his current skill set doesn't even matter that he's a rookie. So yeah, that's just kind of why he falls second to me. I really like what he can do. He definitely has a higher ceiling than Stephon Castle. It's truly just what he does best. He needs the ball, and I don't think we need that right now. We need someone who could care less about having the ball and just wants to impact the team and winning in other ways. He could be the Josh Hart, Derek White type player. I really think Stephon Castle has that kind of potential. Third, we have Montes Buzelis. So like I said, he was second up until this morning, and the reason that is because this whole time he's looked like 6'10", maybe even like a long 6'9", but it came out that he's like 6'8.5". And my biggest thing with him is his skill set, because I think he's a very fluid guy. He knows how to score. He's able to create for himself. He can, I wouldn't say run an offense, but you're not afraid of going the offense, using the offense through him. It's just, at 6'10", it was a lot more enticing. We have Miles Bridges at 6'8". We have Brandon Miller at 6'7"-ish that kind of can do the same things. I will say he's a tremendous blocker, and especially weak side. So his defense kind of at the rim is really good, which, we need that for sure. It's just, we have Mark. So it's like, do you really want to double down on that? I don't know. But everything else outside of those 2 things, as far as like his height, and then also he needs the ball in his hand, that's the only reason he's at 3. he also, I believe, has higher upside than Stephon Castle. Like, if all of them maxed out, I would probably go. Oh man, I probably would go Buzelis, Ron Hall, and Stephon Castle at all three max. How would they would turn out? Now the thing is, will they get there? But yeah, with Buzelis, it's just I really like his skill set. Like I said, he plays like he's longer on tape, but him being 6'8" just doesn't do it for me. He's 6'8" with 6'10" wingspan. He had I think he has a high upside defensive potential. He's not going to be like this all-time great defensive player, but I do think that he can just. He's one of those guys that's like the block shots are really going to stick out. Is he really this true, like, perfect rim defender? Not really, but he does a really good job of blocking shots. So if he can keep doing that, I think that's going to work out for him extremely well, especially, once he goes out there into the perimeter. But yeah, I just have to knock him down third. The height is not necessarily a problem, but you got to think about it. I'm thinking about what we need. I'm not thinking of, as I just said, he has the highest ceiling. So I'm not necessarily thinking about, who's going to be the best. I'm thinking about what we need right now this second as a team that's going to try to win this second, not try to win, we're not preparing now for 5 years. We're trying to, start going to the playoffs now. And I just don't see it. I think we need a Stephon Castle type player. I don't think we need another project in Ron Holland, who I think he's going to be an incredible player if he can put it together. He was looked at as the number 1 or 2 guy, I think, early in the season. But he just needs the ball too much. And same with Buzelis. He just needs the ball too much. We have Brandon Miller. We have Miles Bridges. They all play different, but that size, I don't think we necessarily need that right now, this second. At 6'10", being able to play like that, being able to be as smooth as that, it was a lot more enticing because we don't have height. We don't have skillful height. Our height comes from 2 players. Well, technically 3. It comes from Mark Williams, Nick Richards, and Davis Bertans. That's it. That's where our height comes from. So you got 2 guys who do the basically exact same thing. And you got 1 guy who can't play defense, but he can a flamethrower from 3. But that's about it. We don't really have any type of skill with that kind of height. And that was my thing with Buzelis. But him being 6'8", I know he's taller than Miles Bridges, and I believe he's taller than, he's definitely taller than Brandon Miller. Even though some people say Brandon Miller's 6'8". I don't know. It's just doubling down because they kind of have the same archetype, just, the heights may be different. But if he's on the team, these guys, this is the thing about this list. Nobody on this list do I feel like if we draft them, I'll be upset. I would literally feel the exact same for all 3 guys. I have my favorite, but they're all in the same tier for me. So I'm not going to be upset if we get one over the other. I would completely understand if the Hornets liked Ron Holland over Castle, or Ron Holland over Buzelis, or Buzelis over, it doesn't matter to me. I think that they're all kind of in the same tier, and I just can't really bring myself to be like, this guy is the guy, better than those. I don't feel that way about any of them. That could be to the class, that could be me. I don't know, but I just don't feel. I have guys, like I said, I give Castle the edge, but I'm perfectly fine with either of the 3. I think Buzelis might go to Detroit, who picks at 5, and they've been wanting they've been wanting a wing like that forever, like a forward wing to play alongside Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. So I think they might get him anyway. And then Ron Holland, he could literally go anywhere between 2 and 4. But I think he's going to end up falling around us, so we'll be able to pick him. Buzelis, like I said, might not even be there. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of these guys. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and push some agenda on you. You're going to, on my job, I just want you to know my 3 guys, but my job is going to be providing you the most information I can about each individual prospect. And then, that's really it. So then you can come to your own conclusion. If you end up agreeing with me, cool. If you don't, cool. I'm not going to sit here and just push and say, these are the guys, these are the only guys you need to worry about. I want to make sure you're able to come up with your own decision. And when you go to work and have conversations about the draft, you sound informed. That's it. I just want you to be informed about each and every guy. We're going to talk about guys that I could think, because this draft is all over the place. There's guys like Reed Shepard, Jacoby Walker, who else? Zachary I still need to pronounce his name, but he could fall. Nikola Topic, which I don't really want on the team, but I get why a team would find him enticing. I do hope he feels better, because I know he has the injury, so I hope he heals up well. But There's a lot of Donovan Clingan from UConn as well. There's a lot of guys that can fall to 6 that the Hornets may be interested in for different reasons, but interest nonetheless. So I want to make sure I give you all the information you need just so that you can kind of be informed. I would like to say, and this is just not off topic, but just the video's over. I would like to say that Stephon Castle, in unofficial standing threes, he shot 18 of 25. Hey, I'm just saying.